Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Welcome to Memorial Day. And welcome to, we've been sleeping in until 8 o'clock. I really needed it, Kaustubha. I was sick. I was sick yesterday. And
Really?
Since COVID, I've been especially on my immune system. And then we were just working outside in the cold rain. I had a little bit of a breakdown. Got a little emotional yesterday. Sometimes I get emotional.
Emotional?
And then I slept in.
What does that mean you got emotional? What happened?
I'm going through stuff, man. But I do
Okay.
want to say that we have a special prayers going out to our good friend, Bhubaneshwar, Prabhu. Bhubaneshwar is in very critical condition in Vrindavan. I met Bhubaneshwar, Prabhu. He's a disciple of Prabhupada. He's a pujari. That means they take care of the deities.
He's a cook, really. Right?
Oh, he's a cook.
Especially.
He's a cook. And he's a really interesting character. And I think, and he's in Vrindavan, and I think he might be leaving his body.
He definitely is.
He
Hasn't eaten for days. Hasn't trained for 3 days.
Oh, wow. But I want to just share something because Bhubaneshwar is a unique personality. Sometimes we have this stereotype of what it means to be spiritual. A person of light walking around, blessing people, saying Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And it's just not necessarily true. We have some karma of our personality, and it's all going to be different. Sometimes we think, I've seen this happen a lot in yoga teacher trainings. People take a 200-hour teacher training, and afterwards they're like, Namaste, Shanti, brother. And they try to become, almost like they have to adopt a new persona. You don't. You have to just be authentic, and you spiritualize whatever you do. I thought, I have a big mouth. I don't know if you picked up on that, Kaustubha, but I thought maybe when I get really spiritual, I'll stop being a big mouth. You don't. It never goes away. But it's just the stuff that's out of your mouth will change, and you'll have less toxic stuff in your consciousness. You're not going to have to rearrange your personality. That's part of the computer, but you do rearrange what's in the computer. Now, I say this because Bhubaneshwar had one of these personalities. I don't mean this in a bad way. It's sort of like Eeyore from, Eeyore is from Winnie the Pooh. Did you ever watch Winnie the Pooh?
Not really, but I know who he is. He's a donkey, right?
He's a donkey, but he's sort of like, all right.
He's like mopey, kind of mopey.
A little mopey. And in my new to spiritual life, I met Bhubaneshwar in Vrindavan, and he had that sort of Eeyore-ness to him. And I was sort of like, oh, that's so unspiritual. And over the years, as I met him, I realized this guy is always meditating on Krishna. That's just his hardware. And it's so, and sometimes he'll say things like, he'll just like stop me and just say something like, it's almost like off the wall. And yet it's sort of profoundly Krishna conscious as well. But he's one of those people that you never know what he's going to say. So when I ever have new people in Vrindavan, I sort of shield them from him. And I have a funny story about Bhubaneshwar because my son Rocco was on a marathon to chant 108 rounds, and
In one day.
in one day. And my son has very long blonde hair, and in India, everyone considers him a girl. Like they always make him go into the girls' line when we're at the airport. Prabhu, go to the Prabhu, ladies queue, ladies queue. One time, a brahmachari came up to him in the kirtan. Hey, Mataji, Mataji! Like tried to move him to the Mataji section.
He's like, I'm a boy.
He's like, I'm a boy. I'm a boy. Like literally, he like looks at me and goes, "That was 19 times today, Dad. 19 times." So anyway, Bhubaneshwar comes up to him and just goes, and I was like, "Oh, don't say anything, Bhubaneshwar. My son's like new, my son's like new in Vrindavan." And he just goes up to me, he goes, "Are you a girl?" And he goes, my son's not like me at all. He's very quiet. He's like, "No, I'm a boy." And he goes, and he saw my son chanting. He goes, "You chant japa?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "How many rounds do you chant?" And he goes, 92. He goes, "You've only chanted 92 rounds your entire life?" And he goes,
Raghunath, but he's not like that. He's more mopey than that, right? That's
yeah,
like
he's a
angry,
little more mopey.
right?
He's not
It's-
excited. He's not excited.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. It was my bad acting skills." He goes, 92 rounds your entire life? And my son goes, "No, today." He goes,
Oh, blew his mind.
it blew his mind. And then he goes, "Stay here." He said, like, "Stay here." And he just disappeared. And he came back with this giant plate of Mahaprasad, food that's been offered and cooked specially for the deity, a giant plate of it, and just gave it to
Wow.
my son. He
Oh
said,
my God.
"This is for you." So it's one of these things. My point is, first of all, he was a great soul who's dedicated his life to really be focused in on the material world, on the spiritual world, leaving the material world behind. And he's leaving his body in an auspicious place, surrounded by auspicious people. And it's a very glorious thing for him. And it's a very sad thing for us, because these great souls, when they leave, we don't have them in our life except from these memories. But anyway, but another point I want to make is spiritual life comes in so many different flavors, and we will refine what's inside of us, but the hardware it stays the same for the most part. The best I can do with my crazy karma is I just gotta like fill my big mouth with tons of stories of Krishna. That's why Sweet Baby Krishna. That's why we're having a Sweet Baby Krishna marathon going on. And tonight at 8:30 p.m. tonight, Sweet Baby Krishna. We do it for a half hour, Kaustubha, 30 minutes, the least, and sometimes I go over to make it like 45 minutes.
It's a marathon.
It's oh my God, you're good. It's a marathon. So anyway, please join us if you're a Patreon member. Join us. If you're not a Patreon member, great time to join. Patreon.com/Wisdom of the Sages. And support the Fang. Anything else you want to say? Hey, let's say a Maha Mantra prayer for Bhubaneshwar. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Fortunate to have him in my life. All right, Kaustubha.
Should we just give people an update on like what's going on this week? 'Cause we're traveling and all that.
Give us an update. We're traveling. We're taking this transcendental show on the road.
Mary, you want to help with that?
Yes. So on Thursday, I think we're going to cancel the show.
Okay.
Right. And then are we going to be able to do the show Friday, Saturday, Sunday? I think we should be able to, because it'll be 5 a.m. California time, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
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 We'll do it 5 a.m.
Or
California
you know
time
what we
over
could do? We could do it. Maybe we could do it live with the Wisdom of the Sages retreat. Wouldn't that be cool? Could be crazy, but could be cool.
That would be
Well,
fun, but then it would
we're
change
gonna-
the time
Let's think
significantly.
about it.
Okay.
It would change the time significantly. Let's think about that.
Okay.
Okay, so we're on at 8 tomorrow and Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday's off.
Right.
And then beyond that, we'll get back to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, drinking my Bava Wellness Fire Cider. Woohoo! Immune system support. BavaWellness.com. Put in Wisdom of the Sages as a coupon code and get 20% discount. Yeah. I've been sucking this stuff down. But I'm better. I'm better this morning. I was sick. I'm better. Thank you, Baba Wellness. Elderberry syrup. Guzzling it. Okay, let's read the Srimad Bhagavatam, Kaustubha.
All right. Mantras.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devam saraswatim vyasam dato jayam mudirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in darkness, and my teachers have come and are opening, in the process of opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer obeisances at their lotus feet. Kaustubha, can I share something? That when I was a new devotee, when you know how we have this Narayanam, Namaskritya, and all these long invocations before we just get to the business.
Yeah.
I, as a new devotee, I'd always be like, can we get on with this already? Must we go through all these invocations every day? And do you know what I'm talking about? Did you ever do that?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I understand that that's how you felt.
Did you ever have that feeling? Like, come on, just come
Sometimes
on,
I would get that at the end of the kirtan when they go on and on and on.
Oh, the Jai Om Vishnupad
Yeah,
Paramahamsa
yeah, yeah.
Parivraja.
Sometimes it's
Me
like,
too. Me too.
Right.
Me too.
You're down there on the ground.
Right,
you
like
got
Jai. Bowing down. You know what? I'm not like that anymore.
Okay.
I like the invocations and the prayers of the Jai, key Jais. That's part of the fun. That's all part of it. You know, that's part of the appreciation. It's part of living the Bhagavatam. You know, it's like when I first read the Krishna book or the 10th canto, and there's like the prayers of the personified Vedas or the prayers of the demigods. We're reading that right now. I used to be like, oh, all right, I'm going to skip right through these prayers, get to the story, back to the story. Now that's the coolest part, I find.
I'm with you there.
What do you think?
Yeah. It's
Right?
like, it's almost like all the storytelling is framing those prayers, and those prayers are what's like the most rich part with all like the, you know, all the juicy information.
Yeah, it's the juicy information.
Yeah.
All right, where are we, Kaustubha? Can you
Well,
tell
speaking
me?
of juicy
We're
information,
Canto 3.
yeah, Canto 3, Chapter 11, we've read up to text 15. And, you know, this is a chapter that's describing measurements of time. But, you know, why is it describing this, you know, this kind of different to us and somewhat tedious sounding long description of time? We've heard about a Truti, which is 8/13,500ths of a second.
Oh, yeah.
And then you combine some of those, and you get a Vedha, which is 8/135ths of a second. And then you combine a bunch of those, and you get a Lava, which is 8/45ths of a second. And then you add a bunch of those.
This is like spiritual science class.
Here you add 3 of those, and you get a Nimesha, which is 8/15ths of a second. And then 3 of those is a Kshana, which is 8/5ths of a second. And then you get a Kashta, which is 8 seconds. It's like, okay, I can work with that, right?
There's 2 types of listeners right now. One who are like, this is fascinating. And one who are going, boring.
Well, I'm going through it quick. Then there was a Lugha, which is 2 minutes, a Dunda, which is 30 minutes, a Prahara, which is 3 hours. And then you get a day, which is 12 hours, and a night, which is 12 hours. And you add 15 of those combinations, and you get a fortnight. That's right.
Love that word.
And then 2 fortnights is a month. 12 months is a year, which is 1 full orbit around the sun. And a human being is expected to live up to like 100 of those years. So now you got the human lifespan, right? So we've, you know, gone through 15 verses, and it's described that the human lifespan, in comparison to that original time measurement, which was again called what was it again? The Truti. It's like a lot of Trutis put together. It's like
a lot of Shrutis.
you can't even count practically, right? So in one sense, the human lifespan is, from that perspective, very, very long. But now we're going to hear more about how even that 100-year lifespan, which seems like a very long time, is actually just a very, very... It'll shrink down to becoming like a Truti in the life of Brahma.
Fascinating. Huh? I wonder if is Mara fascinated by this, or is she like, oh God?
When will this chapter end?
Mara, what do you think? What's your feeling?
It's not my favorite stuff.
Oh, you see
She
that?
likes demons
You
getting their
see?
heads cut off.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. All right, okay.
Well, this is the thing, though. It's like, it's just commonly in life, we're given perspective, just like parents will do with children, right? It's like the kids will say, oh, I don't like this meal. Well, you know what?
People are starving.
Yeah, people are starving in other parts of the world, So from that perspective, you're very lucky to have this food. So adjust it, because it's that change in perspective that allows us to adjust our attitudes and make good decisions, And so that's really what's happening here, It's like that all the time, where it's just like, oh, this is taking so long. How long is this going to take? Well, you know what? If you look at it from this perspective, it's very short. So, deal with it. Change your attitude, right?
Yeah. I think you just need an attitude adjustment, Mara.
Yes,
You need
Prabhu.
an attitude. Well, that's what this is for, Mara. This is to help you adjust your attitude.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Just walking around Kinderhook with a bad attitude.
You got a bad attitude, Mara.
I just said it wasn't my
She
favorite.
doesn't like the bog with Tom now.
I
Right?
like.
All right.
All right, let's dive in.
So okay. So in any case, it's shown how in one sense our lifespan is very long, but now it's going to help us understand that our lifespan is very short. And when we get that, we can also understand that the ups and downs of our life are very insignificant. So this chapter is really going to be laying out the micro and the macro. Showing how the same things are happening on different levels. And ultimately how what we're going through in life, the mountains that we make in our life out of molehills, how they're truly molehills. And when you really understand that, buy into that, when you're given that other perspective, it's so helpful in helping us develop the types of attitudes that will allow us to be true yogis, and allow us to have peaceful minds, and allow us to, absorb those minds deep in spiritual content.
On
All right.
Wisdom of the Sages, we call that
Zooming out.
zooming out.
Yeah, zoom
That's a great. I'm gonna use that. Zooming out. Hashtag that, please, Mara. Zooming out. Boom.
Okay. All right. So let's in text. Well, you know what? Just like a quick little update. In text 11, we heard that 24 hours. That 1 Earth month is 24 hours on the planet of the Pitas. That was text 11.
Say that again.
A month here on the Earth is 1 day for the Pitas. Okay, so
Interesting, huh?
on these on one level of higher planets, it's basically they got like a 30 times the length that we have, of lifespan. And then text 12 informed us that 1 year on Earth is 24 hours for the Devas. So they're living like 365 times. Their lifespan would be like 3,6,500 years.
The Bhagavatam is so complete. We're like, Mara, can you research how long honeybees and flies live? I'm curious. Just on the
Sure.
side.
See, trying to
Yeah, it's
shift the
unbelievable.
perspective.
Just, it's amazing. We don't think like this. We think, we've got this long life. Perspective. Paradigm shifts. Keep
Shifting.
going.
Okay, so now in text 16, Vidur is going to say, well, you can read it. He's going to say, tell me about people that are on still higher planets with still longer lifespans.
It's
That's
fascinating.
you, 16.
Oh, that's me. Okay. What number was that? I was just wrapped up in listening and chat boards.
Text 16.
Text 16. Vidura said, I now understand the life durations of the residents of the Pita planets. So those are the planets of the
That's like,
forefathers.
yeah, it's like 30 times longer than our life.
And the heavenly planets, as well as that of the human beings, now kindly inform me of the durations of life of those greatly learned living entities who are beyond the range of a kalpa. What's a
Yeah.
kalpa?
Kalpa, I think, is like let me I think it's like, I think kalpa is 1 day Brahma. And 1 day Brahma is 100 yuga cycles.
Interesting. Okay,
And
that makes
so
sense.
and 1 yuga cycle, I think is let's see, is 1 yuga
1
cycle
yuga
432,000 years?
No, that's how long Kali Yuga
That's
is.
Kali Yuga. Right.
So, and then everyone is double that.
Oh, I
We
think
must
it's,
have
I think
somebody
the Brahma's life is 311 trillion and 400 million Earth years.
Somebody on Zoom knows. Put it up on our.
How many
put it
years
up
is
on our
one
board.
kalpa?
Yeah, how many
Nityananda
years one
Chandra
kalpa?
says 1,000 from Nityananda Chandra.
No, but 1,000 of whose years? So like how many
I
Earth
see.
years is it? Right, way more than 1,000. Maybe
Yeah.
it's 1,000 yuga cycles,
Mm.
but each one of those yuga cycles is like hundreds of thousands of years.
I think
it's a very long
Nityananda Chandra and Nancy are vying for mayor's position. That's what I can feel. Like. I feel like that's. Don't
Mary
you
doesn't
feel?
understand just how precarious her situation
He's
is.
like teetering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Nancy R's like, I want that. We're joking. It's a transcendental challenge. Who can get that answer? I still haven't seen anything about flies on the chat board yet.
I've got it
What?
for you.
Oh, you got what you got?
The life
you got-
expectancy, yes, the life expectancy of a housefly is 15 to 30 days.
We did this last
Yeah.
week, Raghunath. Come on.
And a honeybee is 5 to 6 weeks.
That's all for a honeybee.
That's it,
Yeah.
man.
Overwintering worker bees may live for 4 to 6 months, but
Hold it.
usually
A honeybee lives how long?
5 to 6 weeks.
So when you got like a beehive like Raghunath, they must just be dropping like left and right.
And giving babies and babies and babies.
What happens to all their
It's like
corpses?
5,000 bees in that beehive, man.
What happens to all their corpses? Like, are you just collecting them like crazy? Well, what happens?
How
To
do you
them?
see them on the bottom of the hives?
Wow, like a lot of them.
Yeah, it's like the burning gods of
Is that why you
Varanasi.
keep the bees? Because you meditate on that. You get some realizations.
I meditate on this, that life is temporary and short.
Okay,
Got to do something with it. Can't waste time.
that's the point, right? You got the perspective, and now you're making good decisions, Raghu. Okay,
Yeah. All right. 17.
17.
Oh, spiritually powerful one, you can understand the movements of eternal time, which is the controlling form of the personality of Godhead. Like that? You can understand the movements of eternal time, which is the controlling form of God. Because you are a self-realized person, you can see everything by the power of mystic vision.
That's right. He said
Maitreya
he says Viksham Vichakshate Dira Yoga Radhena Chakshusha. The wise see the universe through the eyes perfected by yoga. That's what we're trying to do here. Right?
So Maitreya and Vidura again. Maitreya said,
Yeah.
"Oh,
there's
Vidura,
something worth there's something worth reading here from the commentary.
please."
Prabhupada writes, those who have reached the highest perfectional stage of mystic power, they can see everything in the past, present, and future. They can see everything in past, present, and future. And they're called Trikalagyas. They're seeing the 3 phases of time. Similarly, the devotees of the Lord can see everything clearly that is in the revealed scriptures. The devotees of Lord Sri Krishna can easily understand the science of Krishna as well as the situation of the material and spiritual creations without difficulty. Devotees do not have to endeavor for any yoga siddhi, right? It's not like they have to.
We can't.
They don't. It wouldn't work anyway, Raghu. Even though you're fascinated by it, you'll never pull it off, and it's okay. Why? Because they are competent to understand everything by the grace of the Lord who is sitting in everyone's heart. That's how you get it, Raghu. All right? And through hearing, right? All right.
Yeah. All right.
Text 18.
18. Maitreya said, "Oh, Vidura, the 4 millenniums are called Satya Yuga." They're calling millenniums, but they're really more than. Isn't millennium mean 1,000 years? They're much more than a millennium.
I think a millennium can mean different things.
Okay, so in this case, it probably means groups of years. So the 4 millenniums, or the 4 cycles,
Yuga
are called Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvarpa Yuga, and Kali Yuga, which we're presently boiling in that kettle. The aggregate number of years of all these combined is equal to 12,000 years of the demigod.
Mm-hmm.
What? The aggregate number of years is equal to 12,000 years of the demigods?
In other words, this is 430. This is what I said, right? 4,320,000 years. But that's the Yuga cycles put together. Here's the commentary. The years of the demigods are equal to 360 years of humankind. As will be clarified in subsequent verses, 1,200 of the demigod years, including the transitional periods, which are called Yuga Sandhyas. There's also the in-between, the shift years.
Right.
They comprise the total of the aforementioned 4 millenniums. Thus, the aggregate of the above-mentioned 4 millenniums is 4,320,000 years. Okay.
All right. Next text 19. The duration of the Satya millennium equals 4,800 years of the years of the demigods.
So
the duration
that's
of
already
Treta,
360 times our years.
Yeah. And so the duration, I get it. The duration of the Treta millennium equals 3,600 years of the demigods. The duration of Dwarpa, 2,400 years, and that of Kali millennium is 1,200 years of the demigods. The transitional periods before and after every millennium, which are a few hundred years, as aforementioned, are known as the Yuga Sandhyas. Oh, there's some time right between conjunctions, the Sandhyas. You get that in astrology too. Are you in a Sandhya right now? I'm in a Sandhya from going from one major period to another.
You're going to be moving into your what is it again? I'm in it right now.
Saturn
period.
I'm going.
It's going to be good for you, Raghu. This Saturn.
We have the same things. Isn't that amazing?
Well, I'm a little ahead of you on that one. I'm in Saturn already.
You're in Saturn already. Okay, I'm going in April 22nd next year.
Yeah.
I'm going to kick the door down. Going right into Saturn in a big way.
Now be humble, Raghu. Be humble.
I can't help it. Saturn's a renunciate. I got to be a little humble.
Okay.
Lori Pags and Saturn now. All right.
So you got the Yuga Sandhyas.
Okay, the Yuga Sandhyas. Sorry about that.
Conjunctions.
Distracted. The Yuga Sandhyas, or the conjunctions of the 2 millenniums. According to expert astronomers,
That's the
in
end of the
those
sentence.
periods, all kinds of according to expert astronomers, in those periods, all kinds of religious activities are performed. Okay. In the Sandhyas, good to be religious.
Well, Sandhyas is like that, right? Because Sandhya just means that conjunction, like the time between morning and day is a Sandhya, the time between day and night is a Sandhya, and those are always good times for spiritual practice.
Right.
When the sun's rising, when the sun's
sunrise, sunset.
Yeah.
Those are the Sandhyas. The trees, right?
Tree Sandhyam.
Like we say in that song.
Yeah.
Right. Outside the 3 planetary Ovidura, the Satya millennium.
In the Satya millennium.
Properly and completely maintained. In the Satya millennium, mankind properly and completely maintained the principles of religion.
Dharma,
right? But in other millenniums, Dharma gradually decreased by 1 part as adharma, irreligion, say, was proportionately admitted.
Mm-hmm.
Outside the 3 planetary systems, so there's groups of planetary systems, the Swarga, the Martya, and the Patala. The 4 yugas multiplied by 1,000 comprise 1 day on the planet of Brahma.
Okay, so
a similar period.
1,000. In other words, 1,000 yuga cycles is 1 day for Brahma.
I am so damn insignificant, aren't I?
That's the point.
I really
right?
think I'm important.
See, you see,
that's the point.
Listen to this, Mara. Did you just see what just happened right there?
Yeah.
He had a breakthrough right there. That's what you need to understand, Mara. That's what you need.
You know what Radhanath Swami says? He says, for the imperishable soul, this lifetime is like a single pencil point in a long line. Imagine drawing a line from like here to Mississippi, here to Louisiana, where Troy Wainwright's doing puja and wrestling the gators, right? Imagine drawing a long pencil line. Your life is one point in that line. That's your whole existence is Mara. You know, everything you know about yourself, you're a point like there.
And you're
But
thinking you're
Mara's lived
so
many
significant, so important.
Walking around with your #1 Columbia County catering business.
That's right. Columbia County is just one very small place in a very vast universe, Mara.
It's
It's a
true.
universe.
There's other vegan caterers out there with much
on
bigger
other
scale.
planets. On other planets as well. Okay, continuing on. We're doing this for your benefit, Mara.
Thank you.
Try to pay attention.
All right, Mara G, where are we here? What number are we?
21.
Okay, 21. 22.
Oh, no, 22. Yeah. No, 23.
23. After the end of Brahma's night, the creation of the three worlds begins again in the daytime of Brahma. And they continue to exist throughout the life durations of the 14 consecutive Manus, or the fathers of mankind. So the Manus are under Brahma. Brahma's the high. He lives the longest.
14 Manus within one day of Brahma.
That's unbelievable. I am a fly. I'm a
Not
fly
even.
in this world.
Yeah, and those
I
Manus
have
are
no
all
problems.
important.
I have no problems. It's
My
over
problems
in a
are-
moment.
Yeah, they're
Even the most tragic things are, like a fly is having a hard day today. You know what I mean? Don't worry, it's going to be over in a moment. In a moment, you're going to have a whole new etch-a-sketch of a life. The etch-a-sketch will be shaken up in a short time.
those Manus are important figures too, but relatively insignificant themselves.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that the Manus, how important they are, what they do, and it's still insignificant compared to Brahma.
Now, you know what
And then
I
we're going to
picked?
zoom out more
You
in
know
this
what I?
Fibonacci spiral of existence and find that Lord Vishnu.
Well, that's
right?
that. We're not even there yet.
We're not
Yeah,
even
that's
there. We're still on
then
Brahma.
that's it's like once your mind has been blown, then they're gonna blow it out of the water again.
This is why I like Vedic study.
Yeah.
It's just one mind-blowing thing after another.
That's right. So, but you know what I heard from Chaitanya Charan, the spiritual scientist, recently, Raghunath, and this was I want to start to learn more about this. He said that the Bhagavatam that we read, right?
Yeah.
That the whole thing is taking place within one day of Brahma. Okay.
Okay.
And now he's got 365 days in a year and 100 years. So it's like the whole Bhagavatam is taking place in
long time.
relatively small period of time for him. And that the first from all the Leelas, all the stories that we're hearing from Canto 3 up to Canto 8, those are taking place in this Swayambhuva Manu period, the first Manu in his day. Okay? And from the 8th canto on, all of that is in the Vaivashvata Manu, which is the Manu that we've got right now. Interesting, right?
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Clayton says that some bacteria only live for minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty interesting to think like that, too. You live for a minute.
Yeah.
And it feels like a whole lifetime. It doesn't feel like, oh, my life is so short. It feels like an entire lifetime. That bacteria is like, man, oh, God. It's noon already? I'm like having a midlife crisis at noon. Okay.
All right.
In each and every change of Manu, no, 26. What number are we on?
No, I think it's 24.
At the end of 24. Each and every Manu enjoys a life of a little more than 71 sets of 4 millenniums.
Okay.
I'm not going to even go there. After the dissolution of each and every Manu, the next Manu comes in order, along with his descendants who rule over different planets. But the 7 famous sages and the demigods like Indra and their followers such as the Gandharvas, all appear simultaneously with the Manus.
Okay.
Wow. So these are the life of these big demigods, like
And-
Indra,
and,
etc.
And it's saying that with Manu comes like a whole administration, right? Like we have like these 4-year shifts of administration, so maybe it goes 8 years, right?
Right.
And then a new
Right.
president comes in, and with that president, they're going to bring in a new cabinet and
Bring
so
in
on.
all their people.
Bring in all their
Right.
people. Yeah, and we're like, oh my God, when is this going to end? You know, someone else come in, and but here it's like Manu, he's going on for like 71 sets of 4 millennium, so 71 Yuga cycles.
It's not a long time for
It all
them,
depends how you look at it, right? Yeah,
right? It's 4 years for them.
It's
Right?
It's like a 4-year thing.
It's 4 years. But for us, it's like, come on already. Next president, you know?
Yeah.
In the creation, after the dissolution of each and every Manu, the next Manu comes in order. Okay, got that. 26. In the creation during Brahma's day, the 3 planetary systems, Swarga, Marta, and Patala, revolve. And the inhabitants, including the lower animals, human beings, demigods, and pitas, appear and disappear in terms of their fruitive activities. What does that mean, Kaustubha?
In the creation during Brahma's day, so he's got this 1 12-hour period. Well, you see, because also what it's describing is that every time Brahma goes to sleep, there's like a universal flood, universal cycle of destruction, right?
From Trenton, New Jersey.
From Trenton, New Jersey. So there's constantly these creations and destructions going on, you know, that are like, you know, hugely massive, you know, colossal amounts of time. But for Brahma, it's like nothing, right? So
Megadeth Records presents, not Megadeth, Metal Blade Records presents
cycles of destruction.
Eternal Flood.
In the creation during Brahma's day, the 3 planetary systems, Svarga, Martya, and Patala, so the whole universe, they revolve, and the inhabitants, including the lower animals, human beings, demigods, pitas, appear and then disappear according to their fruitive activities, according to their karma. So in other words, everybody's like just shifting and shifting. Our situation is shifting and shifting over huge spans of time.
Like, where do we go?
It's
like,
just
where do we
shifting.
go?
Yeah, we got to break out. That's the point. You got to break out of this, right? Going on
Right.
for a very long period of time.
We got to get out of this material world. It doesn't sound
We got to
sound
get out
good
of this
here.
place.
Okay. Oops, I just hit my cat in the head by mistake.
Oh, we're okay.
In each and every change of sorry, there, Buttercup. In each and every change of Manu, the personality of Godhead appears by manifesting his internal potency in different incarnations as Manu and others. Thus, he maintains the universe by discovered power.
So, you know, throughout all this time, Krishna keeps appearing in different ways, in different forms. God is,
Okay.
you know, popping up. He's a maintainer.
He's a maintainer. At the end of the day, under the insignificant portion of the mode of darkness, the powerful manifestation of the universe merges in the darkness of night. By the influence of eternal time, the innumerable living entities remain merged in that dissolution, and everything is silent.
So there's long stretches of time where like every living being in that universe, except what will be explained, I think, coming up, some of these beings are on higher levels of the universe where this kind of destruction isn't taking place like on a nightly basis, on a Lord Brahma's nightly basis, right?
Yeah.
But for most of them, they're going into some kind of like, you know, sleep-like state.
When the night of Brahma ensues, all the 3 worlds are out of sight, and the sun and the moon are without glare, just as in due course of any ordinary night. Isn't it
Yeah, it's all
interesting?
micro macro, right?
It's all,
flip off
it's
the
all
lights.
micro macro.
Yeah.
It's all micro macro. When the night of Brahma ensues, all 3 worlds are out of sight. Okay.
You just read that.
Text 30. The devastation takes place due to the fire emanating from the mouth of Shankarshan.
Sankarshan.
Imagine if you say that to
Shankarshan.
a regular American scientist. Oh,
yes, the fire emanating.
the
from mouth of
fire
Sankarshan.
emanating from the mouth of Shankarshan destroys
snake.
your universe in your fantasy world. They don't believe anything.
Right. Okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Okay. The power.
And the great sages like Brigu
Keep reading.
and other inhabitants of Maharloka transport themselves to Janaloka. They're like, oh, the waters are coming, right? Let's go up in the universe where that water
Right.
and that fire isn't going to hit.
Tide is high,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm moving on.
Exactly. And they're not necessarily going to try to be number one, but they're going to try to get up to those number one planets.
No one even gets our joke.
Mara's got it. Mara's got it.
Mara doesn't have it. She's like smiling and nodding, but has no idea.
She's
We're
pretending she
referencing
has it.
Blondie.
I know the song.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right, Mara,
You
come
be
on.
careful, Mara, because I think we pushed Mara too far the other day, and then she just like cut out on us, and we went too
She's
far.
like, I'm out of here. Okay? Yeah, you having a good time? I'm out. I'm going to whip some vegan whipped cream up. At the beginning of the devastation, all the seas overflow and the hurricane winds blow violently. Thus, the waves of the seas become ferocious. And in no time at all, the three worlds are full of water. This is so true. I just drove through the desert. And it looks like I am driving at the bottom of the ocean. Ever drive through the desert, Kaustubha? It's like
Yeah,
I am
many times.
underwater, right? I can
I never thought of
understand
it
that
that
this
way.
world was inundated with ocean.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
Whatever.
that's a theory.
I'm interested in your theory. Can I just subscribe to your newsletter? Okay, thus the process of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, lies down in the water on the seat of Ananta. That's the big snake, many-hooded snake. And his eyes closed, and the inhabitants of Janaloka planets offer unto the Lord their glorious prayers with folded hands.
I tell you, Rabbi, when I hear that verse, it's all so far out. It's like, again, it sounds super far out that like Vishnu's creating all this stuff just out of his body, right? But let's face it, we see human bodies born out of their mother bodies, right? Without any,
That's
in one
weird.
sense, and I don't mean to like demean like the effort that mothers put in, in what they go through being pregnant, but in one sense, without any effort of their own,
Oh yeah, it's really simple. They just
the whole
don't do
thing.
anything. They just
It's
lay
just
there.
developing there. It's not like the mother has to think like, now I need to create the brain and now I need to create the lungs. And no, it's just like, it all just happens, without any effort. And this is saying Lord Vishnu, it's micro macro, from his body is coming the universes, and every universe is lit up. Like every universe has a soul, so it's like, it's like Krishna is like the soul of all existence, and Mahavishnu is the soul of the material world, and then out of him comes unlimited universes, and he goes in them as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, lies down on the water, and he becomes the soul of every universe. And then within that universe, it's made out of, there's no way that you could count the number of atoms that are in the universe, and he enters into every atom as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So like,
Inconceivable.
his consciousness is just spread everywhere, but we just see, like, if you just look around, just look around and see that from a seed comes a tree, which gives us more seeds, which comes from more trees, and they're all just
Unbelievable.
It's just like, yeah, like appreciate this stuff.
That should
right?
blow our mind on a regular basis.
Exactly.
You go out to an oak tree, look at the oak, look at those acorns, and just go, "This is unbelievable." And
It
then
is.
it's giving tens of thousands of more acorns. Unbelievable.
It's
That grow into
unbelievable.
tens of thousands of more trees. Unbelievable. That
It's-
should be the CNN headline.
Right?
Mangoes grow, taste
Again.
delicious, and give seeds that grow and give more trees.
True, with
We
nourishment
should
and
have our mind
deliciousness.
blown every moment.
Yeah, and so who appreciates that?
People on acid.
No, people on the Janaloka planets, because
No, I'm
there's
just serious. When people are on acid, they're like, "Oh my god, the grains in the wood."
yeah, but then
This
they
is
come down and then they just like the whole thing just.
I'm
slips
just saying
away.
they do appreciate it.
Sometimes, but the residents of the Janaloka planets, they don't need acid. They are up there on that higher level of realization like all the time, and they don't come down from it. And so when all this destruction is going on in the lower parts of that bubble of the universe, they're with folded hands offering prayers to Lord Vishnu, who's like kind of in a cosmic sleep. And do you ever see those you know that Kerala style art?
Yeah. It
We,
sort of
we've looked
looks
at it.
old.
Like what? Yes, it does look old. I mean, when it's an old painting, it looks old. Like we've seen that when we'd go to that temple in Trivandrum, the Padmanabh Swami temple. Remember when we went there? Which has Lord Vishnu lying down. He's like 18 feet long.
Yeah.
It has 3 doors, one for his head, one for his navel.
Yes.
Right.
Cool temple. That's a temple where the government ordered them to open the vaults in the basement of the temple.
Because they had all
And they
this wealth in
found
there.
incredible, like jewel. It's like my dream come true. Like
But the government.
treasure chest.
It's my dream
gold. It was
come
in the
true.
New York Times.
No, it was in the New Yorker. I think they had a big article on that, right?
Yeah, the vaults.
But yeah, all the wealth that the kings had given to that temple was still stored down there for like centuries. But there's one, and you know the government official that ordered it to be opened immediately died like right after they opened them.
Oh, really?
He was cursed. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I got to screw with my kids.
What? I did. This is a new feature of the show. I'm unfamiliar with it. Where Raghu hits mute and starts screaming at his kids. Okay, you're back.
Sorry, there's a dog. I hear barking, and if there's a random dog on our property, the sheep lose their mind.
Okay.
And they get all neurotic and filled with anxiety.
Okay, but in any case, they have these incredible style art. It's like a very earthy style, right? In these reddish, earthy tones. And on the outside of that temple, when you walk around, it has all these paintings from Mahabharata, from Bhagavatam, from the Puranas, from Ramayana. And a lot of times they show Lord Vishnu lying down with all the devas with folded palms offering prayers, and the sages there with their dreadlocks and everything. They're beautiful paintings, you know. If you Google Kerala style art, right? Kerala mural paintings.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google that. You know, I think it's time to go. We're getting
Is it?
close.
No, it's not. Slow down, guy.
All right. I gotta go.
Because there's a dog on your property.
The dog, the sheep,
just chill out.
My neurotic sheep.
Who's neurotic?
Just hear
Where do
the
they get
sheep
it from?
there, they just like panic.
All right.
One, if they lose, because I only have 2 sheep now. So if they lose each other, one just starts running circles around the house. It's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen. Just
Take care of those sheep,
like
bro.
laps, like looking for the other sheep. Okay.
Text 32.
32. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead,
Oh, no,
lies
that's text
down
33.
in the
I'm sorry.
text 33. Thus, the process of the exhaustion of the duration of life exists for every one of the living beings, including Lord Brahma. One's life endures for only 100 years in terms of the times in the different planets.
So that's what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
That it's like everyone's got a 100-year
years of-
lifespan.
That's it. We got 100 years lifetime, and
But it's-
and maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
in accordance with their body type. The
And the
bee
planet
lives
that
for
they're on.
100 years of bee life. And we say this. We already know this. We already say, "How old's your dog?" We're like, "Oh, my dog's like 250 years old in human." You know what I mean? In dog years, we always talk like that. How old's your dog in dog years?
Because it's 7 years different. Seven times, right?
Yeah,
7.
they do some rough calculation. So we even think like this anyway.
They do.
The 100 years of Brahma's life are divided into 2 parts, the first half and the second half. Okay. The first half of the duration of Brahma's life is already over, and the second half is now current.
Okay,
Wow.
so this is in Vidura 5,000 years ago. Maitreya is telling this to Vidura.
So Vidura, Brahma's in his
So
midlife. Right
Even
now.
though this was 5,000 years ago, it's still very relevant to us. It's like we're very close to
that's-
that time.
5,000 years is like nothing. It's like
Nothing.
nothing. It's like a
Got that,
moment.
Mara? It's nothing.
Nothing in a moment. Okay, winding this up. In the beginning of the first half of Brahma's life, there was a millennium called Brahmakalpa, where Lord Brahma appeared. The birth of the Vedas was simultaneous with Brahma's birth. Interesting. The birth
That's
of the
the
Vedas.
first kalpa.
So how long is Vedic thought? How old is yoga? It's incalculable.
Yeah.
When did yoga begin? It's incalculable.
They were
It's
doing yoga then.
eternal. It's eternal information. Next time someone asks you, how old is yoga? You should say eternal. See what they say. They don't even know. We don't even have that in our brain, that things are eternal. Well, it started here. It was started by this guy or gal. No, it's an eternal truth. So as long as there's been the creator and creation, there's been yoga.
I'm with you.
Fascinating, isn't it?
I accept.
I accept. All right. Let's get our music on.
No,
Mara,
we still got more
takeaways?
time, Raghunath. What are you
got
trying
more
to end the show for?
We got 3 minutes. We got our takeaways. We got to do
The music
takeaways.
on.
All right, let's keep going. All right, keep going. What number?
It's okay. If you really want to end it right now, we can.
I don't
can
want to
get
end it.
music
I'm
on.
okay. The sheep are good, I think.
It's too late. Too late.
All right. Mara, we got any good takeaways today?
And they're all short. Zooming out. We need an attitude adjustment.
Yeah, some of us do.
Some of us need attitude
I need an
adjustments.
attitude adjustment. It's all about perspective.
It's all about
It's all about perspective. I like that.
One.
Life is short and we can't waste time.
All
And
right.
we are so damn insignificant.
We
I
are so
am,
There you
at
go.
least.
That's the name of it.
So damn
There's the tattoo, right? Mara, that's your tattoo.
No, but you know what? We are significant because we're spiritual beings.
Ah,
But
flipping
in
it.
the biggest
Okay.
picture of things, we're insignificant. Our significance comes from serving the whole. In our service, we become significant. How about that?
Here's a takeaway too. You don't have to rearrange your personality,
Mm.
right, Raghu?
You don't have to rearrange your personality. You just have to purify the consciousness. Boom. That's a good one. Love to Bhubaneshwar, Prabhu. I'm so glad you were in my life. No one told me I'm dressed in camouflage today. All you see is my hands, like the helping hands commercial. You know what I'm talking about? Helping
I don't
hands.
know.
What was that? Hamburger helper. Hare Krishna. Oh, Hare Krishna. I can't believe I just said that.
Vegan burger helper.
Yeah. Anyway,
Veggie
thanks
burger
everybody. Oh, and Sweet Baby Krishna tonight at 8:30. Wisdom of the Sages is a community-supported podcast and show. It's a show. And you can support us by going to Wisdom of the Sages patreon.com/Wisdom of the Sages. Make a monthly pledge. Whatever you can do. We are accepting cryptocurrency.
Raghu always thinks that that's
Like
funny
saying
when he
that
does that. I don't know. Mara, what's with that, right?
Even PayPal is trying to get me to like, hey, you want cryptocurrency? I was like, I don't even know what it is. Don't you feel like you should be knowing what it is?
I don't care about it at all.
You don't care about it.
I want to go the other direction. Like we're just like trading, like
Trading
like
diamonds
seashells
here.
and stuff like that.
Kaustubha, I pledge one small diamond a month. Wisdom is I accept $20 walking liberty gold pieces a month.
Some grain, here's some grain.
Yeah, and if you don't have much, you send some grain into the Patreon account. Brown basmati rice.